Petri dish, the Petri dish, the Petri dish.
This is
The Petri dish, the Petri dish, the Petri dish. This is the Petri dish. There's something growing in here, and today it is disdain for fast food workers. That's right. We're taking it to the people that really deserve it. We're punching up to the poor fast food workers of a, I don't like to assume that any fast food worker is present in their job. Like if I was working at a Burger King, I'd probably be high off my balls and just sitting there like, all right, first we do this bun, and then we do burger, and then we do cheese, and then we do pickle. It would be like very... I'd be slow, but I'd get it. But you'd be very mad at me, as I am currently at fast food workers. As you may notice, solo podcast today. I don't even got the little window around. Still going to come out on YouTube. Still going to come out on all the platforms. I didn't make one until just now because Labor Day happened. And when you get a 3-day weekend, you just got to let it all go. As you can tell by my very stained t-shirt. Stained from the liquid that came off of a vacuum that I was rinsing. And I know what you're thinking. You shouldn't rinse vacuums. We got one where you could. We didn't rinse the vacuum. We rinsed the filter. You rinse the filter. It's like a reusable filter inside the vacuum. But I flicked that dusty water all over myself. And I have not since showered or changed because it is now a work day. And I refuse to apply effort even in the life that I display to the outside world. Because if I'm going to be caught up in the hellish confines of capitalism, you're all going to see what it does to me. Speaking of the hellish confines of capitalism, can we get back to fast food? Now, I just wanted to come in on a little solo intro one. You may have heard it mentioned on previous podcasts. Austin is actually like literally on his way to the airport right now to go down and see Jonathan over in the jolly old South. I know they usually say that for England, but now I'm saying it for the South. It's jolly old. So they'll be hanging out soon. We'll probably see if we can either podcast with them together, just both sitting in front of Jonathan's laptop, or we'll wait till Austin's back and we'll do a podcast about whatever shenanigans they're going to get into. But I just wanted to put something out this week, just as a like, hey, thanks for watching that short that I edited and liking it enough to then come check out the podcast. This week, I just wanted to try to explain, even for our audio listeners, I'm hoping this is conveyed, but I do believe this is more of a visual joke, and it's only funny to me, and that's the problem, is I found a thing that was so... It caught me so off guard. It was so funny that I'm still trying to figure out how to convey to the rest of the world how incorrect this thing was so they can see the comedy too. But the hard part is I think things are funny because I'm full of autism, and other people will look at it and be like, that's just a quesadilla. And I'm like, you're wrong. So let's get into it. One, every time we order Taco Bell, which is frequent times a month, I always get Alicia one of the chicken quesadillas because it's one of the best items at Taco Bell. Nice and simple. One time they straight up forgot it. Second to last time they burned the fuck out of it. And this last time they cut it like they did half, and then they left the entire big half that they just cut, and then the remaining half they then cut into thirds. So she got like appetizer strips of quesadilla to lead to her one large piece of quesadilla. Either way, please no one make fun of the way that I say quesadilla. I know I am very close to the southwestern region. I'm still not going to speak in a fake any kind of Latino accent just on the fucking Mexican words, because I didn't do that in Hawaii. I mean, Hawaii. I didn't do it then, not doing it now. For any language ever. Sorry. Welcome to America. Speaking of American things, the education system. Now, I don't like to get into geometry because I only took half a semester of it before never taking a math class again. But we order the quesadilla from Taco Bell to get back on track. And for all intents and purposes, let's just say a quesadilla is a half moon shape, you know? There is a singular half moon face. There is one long bottom edge. There are two vertices at the tips of that edge that then curve up into what we know as the rounded part of the quesadilla. Now, if you were cutting a quesadilla, you would cut directly in half along that half moon face, correct? Yes, that is how everyone would cut a quesadilla. And then the X-plane now is where we are going to cut it in half. So now we have an XY grid consisting of two halves of quesadilla, right? Each side with its own half of a half moon. But now here is where we get into the real problem. If we are cutting it in half along that X-plane directly down the middle, half of a quesadilla, you would then logically cut the quesadilla along the 45-degree planes on either side of that X. You know, you're going to go negative 45 on that X, and you're going to cut in half, and you're going to go positive 45 on that X, and you cut in half again. You are then left with 4/4 of one half moon. It's literally a fucking pie chart of how you should cut a quesadilla, and they still fucked it up. I'm so mad. I'm getting ahead of myself. They cut it correctly, but upside down? They cut the half moon of the quesadilla in half. And instead of assuming this long bottom edge of the quesadilla is where you tilt the 45 degrees, they cut the top at the 45-degree angle, leaving two pieces of quesadilla that are just the edge of tortilla with nothing in it, and then two triangles. It's so incorrect when I think about it, it makes me laugh. Because how do you cut something so wrong? It's shaped literally like the example. It's like a pie chart. You cut it into the quarters. You cut it into quarters. Now, I know you can cut a quesadilla differently, you know? You can cut it into strips, basically, you know? Like, instead of saying, okay, X plane on the Y, you can just cut it in half and then cut those halves in half again. You won't be left with, you know, exact right triangles, but you'll still have a little bit of filling within those edge pieces. Whatever fucking lunatic decided to cut this one said fuck all convention and literally just cut the crusts off of a quesadilla and just called that 4 pieces. Anyway, I've been explaining this quesadilla for like 10 minutes now. If you still don't get it, you never will. But I gotta get back to stuff. Maybe shower once today. So thanks for being you. And go order a quesadilla from Taco Bell and see if it shows up insane. It's so funny. It's so funny to see a quesadilla cut that wrong. All right. Goodbye.